Today we're talking about something very interesting, ledge grabbing in Sonic games. This is a very highly requested topic, as I'm sure you all know, and but don't worry, this video is going to have you grabbing at the ledge of your seat, you could say. First up, we've got Tails Adventure. I had not played this game before this video, and I intend to not play it after this video because I don't really know what they were thinking. I guess throwing little bombs at enemies is kind of fun, I guess. But more importantly, this game does feature a ledge grab that lets you just climb over a ledge. It does what it should, but it doesn't really meet any other criteria than literally just going over a ledge. This is literally just for making climbing up stairs easier. It doesn't save you if you mess up a jump, which is something I think a ledge grab should do, so this is kind of pointless. The animation doesn't look very good, it's slow, it's clunky, the range is terrible, and this is not going to save you from a jump, no matter how hard you want to look at it. Like, it's not going to save you. It's literally just for getting upstairs. It's just so bad. Like, this has me in a spin, dude. You could say a two-tailed spin. So yeah, no, this ledge grab sucks. This is a 2 out of 10. Next up, we got Sonic Spinball. Now, me personally, I'm not like the biggest hater of Spinball. It actually has some fun to it, particularly when you go into the options. Oh my gosh, the options. And then you set it to be fast. Yeah, you can just like increase the game speed, by the way, if you want to do that. It makes the game way smoother and not feel like a slog to play the entire time. So that made my experience a little better. And honestly, this is the game that inspired me to make this video. It's certainly not the best one in the series, but it's definitely the most stylish. Like, look at this. Oh my gosh. He does all flipping everything. And I have to say, this is definitely one of my favorites because the animation, ooh, I really love this. I've always loved the Sonic Spinball, like kind of like the American Sonic game. Like, this is by far the most American-styled Sonic game in like every way. And I really like some of that style being poured into this game. And I think this animation is just really nice. It has just such a nice bounce to it. But there are some drawbacks. While this mechanic looks really nice, the animation is super clean, and it's pretty useful. Like, I use this a lot in this game. The only drawback is that it does like forcibly lock you in this animation, and it's pretty slow. So it can feel a bit clunky when you're playing the game, and sometimes you kind of wish it was a little bit snappier, which is something I could say about the whole game, but this mechanic also does have that ingrained in it a little bit. So while this ledge grab may be pretty solid, it's not perfect, so I'm gonna have to give it a 7 out of 10. Remember how I talked about Tails Adventure earlier? Well, don't worry, cause the next game we're talking about is called Adventure 2. Adventure 2's ledge grab is by far the most well-known usage of this mechanic, and I have to say there's a reason why. It's pretty effective in this game. It does something that I don't think many of the other ledge grabs in the series does. It is actually useful for saving you. Like, look at this. Even when going a pretty fast speed, if you can turn around right at the ledge, like if you turn around right after, like right when you're about to miss it, it does save you. Like, this is pretty reasonable. I'm going pretty fast, and in most any other case, I would have just slipped off. But it is nice that this mechanic does give you enough grace that you can save yourself if you're about to fall off a platform. It also can be helpful if you didn't bounce enough times and you can just barely climb up a little ledge. It's pretty helpful for that as well. And you can also just kind of hang there if you want to for some reason. Sure, why not? The only criticism I have of this mechanic is that it feels very clunky. Something I have to criticize about Adventure 2 a lot is that some of the gameplay animations feel very jarring. It's very like hard start and hard stop, and that's what this has. It doesn't feel very smooth. It feels a bit clunky, which is certainly because it's a game from its time, no doubt, but it could have been a lot smoother. So while Adventure 2's ledge grab could have looked a little cooler, it certainly is one of the most useful in the series, and can definitely help you if you almost run off a platform. So for that, I have to give it a 9 out of 10. But what's way more important than this rating is these sick tires. Look at these. Wow, that's cool. my tires. Next up, we have Shadow the Hedgehog. And I didn't even know a ledge grab was in this game. So we're not on to a good start already. Yeah, so the ledge grab in Shadow the Hedgehog is essentially just reusing the hanging from a balloon animation and then just giving it a little jump animation at the end. I will say it looks really nice put together, but it really isn't that crazy. And the sad part is that there's literally like no jump in this game that you're ever gonna need it for. Since there's no bounce bracelet or anything that's gonna need you to jump higher than your base jump height, this thing is not useful at all. And with how slippery Shadow 05's movement is, it's not gonna save you from falling off a platform either. So this, while looking pretty cool and having Shadow 05's really cool, like exaggerated animation style, which while really wacky, it does have a certain charm to it. So it looks nice, but man, is it useless. Like, I'm never gonna use this. I didn't even know it was in the game. So, like, it's just, you're never gonna get saved by this, never mind. Well, alright, I guess I'm gonna have to bump it up a little bit. I'm gonna have to give it a 6 out of 10 then. Also, before we get to anything else, check this out. Yeah, it was, like, meant to be in, like, Sonic 06. They somehow didn't have time to add, how does that, I don't... This game is so terrible, oh my gosh. Next up, we have Sonic Unleashed, a game of, mini mechanics, and one of those happens to be the Werehog's ledge grab. And man, I just gotta say, this is definitely the best in the series. This is really the only game that actually made it one of the main mechanics for the character, and it shows, because it has a lot of uses. A, it's really intuitive. You can be hanging from the bottom, or you can be up top on the wall, which is really nice. You can also use it to get on top of something, or you can run off the object and hang off of it easily. No slipping off, nothing to worry about. Not a single issue in sight with that. It also has this really cool mechanic that as you're grabbing it, if you press jump, you actually just retain all your speed in the air, which is really cool and keeps a flow state going in the game even when you're grabbing onto a ledge. Something I can't say about anything else in the series. All these other games have some sort of stop animation or make something feel a little bit clunky. That's something I've been complaining about the whole time, but Unleashed does a really good job. It feels really smooth. While it's a shame that this side of the Werehog, the more platforming side, does not get enough time to shine, and it's basically just grinding, boring enemies. Yay, how fun is that? Wow, I'm so excited. But even with the imbalance of platforming and combat, this mechanic on its own is virtually flawless. I don't have any criticism of it, so 10 out of 10. With that said, let's like not get it twisted, like, ooh, Sonic Unleashed is 7 out of 10 at best, the Werehog sucks, ooh. And the last game we're gonna talk about is Sonic Lost World. So, the ledge grab is kind of like useless on its own. It's really just to get you on top of a platform when using the parkour. It's less of a mechanic on its own. It's just that if you really precisely line it up, then, you know, you can grab onto a ledge and just kind of shimmy off of it if you want to. Or, you know, you could try and run and grab the edge of a platform and, you know, Sonic slips and he doesn't grab it. So you could say, you know, Sonic's, you know, lost his grip on the world. So the ledge grab in this game is less of a mechanic on its own and is really just a means of getting on top of a platform using the parkour system. And since Lost World's parkour system is pretty darn smooth, this is just a cool transitionary phase from being on the wall to being on top of whatever very block-shaped or cylindrical-shaped thing you're on. Wow. Look at our little silly Sonic here, just having a grand old time. So, I'm gonna have to give this one a 7 out of 10, because it's not really a mechanic on its own, but it works fine enough. So, yeah, that's kind of it. Yeah, that's kind of all there is to talk about. Yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I'll see y'all next time. Yeah.